Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday night X-Tribe webcast. It's going to be an exciting night for us here tonight, so we're just going to get right into the programming. We're just coming off the Tres Amigos tour of the Take Your Life Back tour that Randy, Luca, and Eric went on last week. These guys came to town, and for 13 and 14 flights they did in 7 days. So they have really planted the flag in Orlando and Miami and Hartford and Durango, San Diego, and New York City. And if you're wanting you and your team to get on the next tour, really start making a name for yourself by doing the Accelerator Guide, duplicating it throughout your team so that the next tour that's planned, make sure your city is on it. But we're really excited to come off the end of that tour and have Randy Gage here with us tonight. And for me personally, the #1 key to my success in this business is that I went to 43 different regional, national, and international events in a row. 43 in a row. Our system's designed around 3 or 4 major events each year. So if you commit to coming to these major events, which is the topic of our conversation tonight, you are going to be successful in this business. And the guys that are on the call tonight are going to, the webcast tonight, are going to tell us why. Mr. Randy Gage, can you tell us a little bit about your tour and what it means to get to the next event?
Okay, let me unmute there. Yeah, energy was electric. Every single city we had more people than the day before, so we kept kind of throwing it as a challenge. Hey, last night we had this. Here's what you got to beat, and everybody beat it all the way up through last night in Gotham City. Ann and David Feinstein and Ross and Kat Decker, they turned the people out. It was amazing. But here's the thing, for everybody who was on the tour and everybody who wasn't on the tour, here's how you want to define the results of that. Because we scheduled this tour for one reason, which is let's help people build to the U.S. launch. Just like the other events we're doing in Mexico and some of the other places are designed to help them build to Alumbra. Because it is, as Billy told you, the secret of success in this business is building event to event, meaning building major event to major event. So that, like the first thing we had in Orlando, would now build to the launch in May 13 to 15, and then from there we'll build to Explode, which is the name of the conference we'll be doing in September. So if you want to know how successful the tour was, it wasn't how many people were in each room or how excited they were or how many people said, oh my God, I get it. It's how many people went to the back office and registered for Orlando and said, because here's the thing, and Eric Gamio talked about this a lot, I think at every stop. If somebody comes up to you and says, are you going to the launch? It's almost an insult, because that's not the question that you want anyone to ask you. The question has to be, how many people are you bringing to the launch with you? Because anybody who's serious about the business has to be there. And if you guys watching in Dominican and some of the other places, you're, of course, the same thing we're talking about is building to Alumbra. Now, the thing is, there's at least 50 good reasons not to go to your next major event. There just is. You got to get the time off from work, it's a big, long drive, or it's a plane ticket. You got to figure out what to do with the kids. You need the kennel for the dogs. You promised Pookie and Ray Ray you were going to move a sofa that weekend. I get it, but if you want to be successful, you got to understand an event like this, Alumbra or the U.S. launch, these take 5 years off your learning curve. These are the things that push people over the top. These are the tipping point. They learn so many new skills. They gain so much confidence in practicing those skills. They build such strong belief that it really does. It takes 5 years off the learning curve. So to give you an idea, like for the U.S. launch, I want you to know bronze and above training is Friday, 3 to 5. So all you guys on the tour who made this commitment that, yes, I'm going to follow this, Luca and Eric and I were doing a training each city. We did a training on how to go bronze in 1 week. And we will do that on one of these webcasts coming up soon. But for all you guys who are bronze, and all you guys who say, yeah, I'm going to be bronze, you need to arrange your tickets for that. So you can't, if you're flying from the West Coast, you can't leave the West Coast at 9 in the morning, get in at 5:30 at night, you're going to miss the bronze training. So bronze and above, 3 to 5. Then Friday night is Opportunity Showcase, where we actually will be doing an opportunity presentation. So any guests you have in Central America, Central Florida, you want to let them know. So we'll do the opportunity thing, take a break, come back. We're going to do a night owl training. Then all day Saturday, 9 to 5, is just training workshops, product training, business building training, skill set training. And then Saturday night is Fusion Got Talent show. So if you sing, if you dance, if you juggle chainsaws, this is the place you want to be Saturday night for the Fusion Fiesta. And then Sunday will be the game plan, where we'll give you assignments and we'll give you the actual game plan, how to go out there. And so plan your flights leaving Orlando. You don't want to plan any flight till 3 p.m. or so. And you guys who are leaders, if you're already a gold or a platinum, or you're going to be gold or a platinum, you might think about even staying over an extra night, that you might want the time Saturday afternoon for some game planning with your key people. The whole point of events like this is you have an agenda, you have a reason. You know, when we don't ask you to get on a plane, fly somewhere, rent hotels, and do all that for just to get together and do rah-rah. We have a game plan on how to get you going, and then you're going to want to implement that game plan with your team. So for Alumbra or for the launch, the way you register is you go in your back office. It's just like buying a box of Termo tea. You'll see a square. It has Alumbra or it has the U.S. launch. Just buy that. If you're in the U.S., it'll say, if that's all you do, you went in and bought it, it'll automatically charge you shipping, because that's just a default glitch that's in there. But don't worry, they're just going to refund the money. So I want to encourage you, just, for the next 3.5 weeks, it's got to be Mach 2 with your hair on fire. The most important priority in your business is how many people can you have with you. Because if you live to be 80, if you live to be 100, if you live to be 120, it won't matter. You will still just have one opportunity to launch the United States of America with Fusion. The most important market in the entire world in terms of network marketing. This is where it started. This is the nexus. The leadership is here. Never before has a company with this kind of track record, this kind of credentials, this kind of product line launched the United States. And we're going to do stuff that nobody has ever done. We're going to break records that have stood for decades. We're going to just evaporate them with what we're going to do with this movement we're starting. So make sure, if you haven't done it, do that tonight. Alumbra or launch, get your ticket. Billy?
Thank you, Randy, and that is all true. Leading up to these events is definitely a time to get out of whack. You know, our system is built overall on a 10 to 15 hours a week, but from now until the middle of May, when you and your team get to Orlando, this is the time to get so far out of whack and really to carve out as maximum amount of time as you can to get more new team members and get them all registered to Orlando. Some of the most powerful people you're going to meet on your team for the next 5 or 10 years could be the person you meet the day before you're supposed to leave to Orlando. And those people who get it and see it will understand the timing, and they will join you in Orlando. And the more people you get at this event, the more income you're going to be able to make over the next 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. We're really setting the foundation, so I encourage everyone to get out of whack. And talking about getting out of whack, the next guy I'm going to bring on the webcast, he is very amazing at attending events and producing events. He and his wife Yafa have been around the world on events, and they know how important and how critical this is to their team. Here's Shah Samuel, who's going to tell us about his experience with events and how it impacts him and his team. Shah?
Yes, thank you, Billy. I'm putting this hat because it's part of the story that I want to tell you. This is the San Diego Padres hat, and we actually went. I went with Randy Gage and Luca and Eric on a game Saturday afternoon, a day before the event here. And when we were there, I got a reminder of an amazing story that I would like to share with you. So that story takes me back to like 9.5 years ago when I was a computer guy, and I just was introduced to network marketing, a wonderful company with a very promising product and a concept. And I knew nothing about marketing or network marketing. But one thing I understand, I need to talk to people. So I did. And actually, the first 3 weeks, I talked to 18 people, and they all say it's going to be amazing, but it's not for us because I didn't have a tool. I was not with the system. I was presenting myself, and all of them saw something which is too much work for them. And then I met an upline, not my upline, but someone above that was kind to help me, and I got started. And 3 weeks later, we had a small team, Yafa and me, and we came to the first monthly event in Israel. All of this happened in Israel. I was an IT guy in Israel, starting with network marketing with a small team, and there was the first monthly event. And I did what what I was taught, bring as much as people as I could. And there were like 35 people in the room, and more than half of them were in our team, and it was amazing. And in the morning, I came to do a testimonial. I had a rank already, like a senior executive, and by the break, I actually got someone else to join, and we broke the next rank, which was like bronze today, So I was very, very happy, nice check. And then my upline came to me and asked me, Shai, what is your waist size? And I said, I don't know, but who cares? And he said, well, you need to have a suit. Do you have a suit? And I said, well, I have one from the wedding, but it's not going to fit me. Why do I need a suit? And he said, well, and it was Friday noon, Friday noon, it's just before the weekend. And he told me next Tuesday, you need to fly to Salt Lake City and you will need a suit. And I say, where is it? And he said, well, it's in Utah in the US. And that's the most important event of the year. And after explaining what is that, I said, well, I really can't. I can't because I use all my vacation, I use all my money, and I don't have the ability to, spend almost $3,000 now and go in 3 days, go to the US, and I'll do that next year. And then he did something which stick with me for the rest of the last 10 years and actually made more than $1 million, for me, and that was drawing a circle. And that circle is a stadium, And it says, imagine every city. So I'll go with the stadium, Petco Stadium in San Diego here, and the game was 3 o'clock. So 1 p.m. there's car parking, and people come and walk into the stadium and go and sit on the bleachers. And 3 p.m., there's 18 people that goes on the grass and a referee, and the referee whistle, and the game starts. And the question that he asked me then, my upline, he says, who makes the difference? Is it those 34, this is the number that we had last Saturday, 34,000 people that are sitting around in the stadium, or it's the 18 people on the green grass? And those people around, they can shout, they can swear, they can throw things, but they cannot make the difference. The difference is done on the grass. And he told me, Shai, the grass is going to be next weekend in Salt Lake City. And you have to choose whether you want to be a viewer, like rest of the 34,000, or a player. If you want to be a player, you need to be on the green, in Salt Lake City. And that was, for me, I got it. And what happened next is phenomenal. In 1 hour, not only that I had my waist size taken and a suit, but also I had 5 people committed to come with me to that event. I turned from someone who said no to someone who understood it and got other people to come with me. And one of them was a person that just signed in. And I told him, I know you spent $1,000, to sign into that deal, but you need to come. Trust me, you want to make success, and that's where you need to come. And he did. And when we went on that airplane Tuesday morning, when the airplane left Tel Aviv, crossed the waterline, into the ocean, flying to the US, I told my upline, when the seatbelt sign went off and I could stand, I went to him and I said, you know what? The deal is done. I already feel something, something with that commitment. So just that commitment and my motivation to go there, for me, made a big difference. But when we arrived to that event, what happened? First I met, it wasn't a big event. It was like 1,700 people from all around the world. So it was a nice size, but it's not huge. But I met so many people, something changed in my view, because before that I saw an event of 35 people. So suddenly see a bigger scale event for me was a big thing. But also, I exchanged cards and met people and so. And the next thing was, okay, I went into the room and I sat at the very back. I came to that room full of people, but I was at the back. I was still on a viewer mode. And over those 3 days, when I heard stories, when I heard testimonials, I saw you on the stage, Billy. That was one of my inspiration. And Wes with the shoes, and all of those stories, suddenly over those 3 days, not only that I made a lot of notes, but suddenly I got this question, the coin hit the floor, and I got this question asking, what do they have that I don't? And the answer was very simple. Nothing. It's just something here. It's something emotional. And what happened was, from that event, I sent an email to my team. And when we came home in 10 days, until the end of the month, the team grew 4 times. So just that event paid itself big time the month after. And I can tell you that the next event, which was in the US, okay, which was 5 months later, I came to San Diego with more than 200 people from my team. And I'm sure you remember that event, because we were the biggest team in the room, because I got it, and that thing duplicate in our team, and then went to Mexico and to the Latin team, and it made me more than $1 million, way more than $1 million, just because of that concept. So here is my call to you. If you're not yet registered, go and do it today as this call is finished, and then call everyone that you know and bring them over, because that can change your life.
Shah, I'm a witness to that story for sure, and it's so exciting still to hear it 10 years later, because you understand how this is not a work an hour, get paid an hour career. We always talk about how network marketing, multi-level marketing is a different way to make money, and it's not a punch a clock, get paid, punch a clock, get paid. It is something where the exponential numbers really start to kick in. So if you get 10 people to Orlando with you, the next event you're going to have 20, and the next event 40, and the next event 80, and the next event is going to be over 100. And the secret formula of this business is if you get over 100 people in the room, just like Shy did, that is when the residual income, whether you work or not income, comes into play. You can be sleeping, you can be in the on the beach drinking margaritas, just checking your email, and the money keeps coming into your account once you build it up. It doesn't start that way at the very first, but that's the reason you and as many people as you can get on your team needs to be at this the next big event. And one of the great leaders on X Tribe is here to tell us how you can build a campaign of where you get your life out of whack for the next 4 weeks and you get people here, because you can measure the cost to get to Orlando. You know how much the plane ticket is, you know how much the registration fee is, you know exactly what it's going to cost you. But what you can't measure, and I'm telling you is 10 or 20 or 30 times more than the cost, is the opportunity lost if you don't get here. And Paul Devlin is going to tell you what that opportunity cost is going to be if you don't create your campaign and get as many people as you possibly can to Orlando in May. Paul?
You know, you hear us go and talk about this so powerfully, and it's because for people that have been in the industry a long time, it's just an established fact. We see the value of these events. And for people that come from a corporate background, the event, a convention from a large company is a different thing. It's more of a celebration, it's fun, it's a let your hair down, it's all of that. But in network marketing, it's a different animal. And so, you know, on your team, when you're developing a campaign, you're going to have two types of people, maybe a group of people that are familiar with this. Maybe they've listened to some of Randy's trainings over the years, or they've been in the industry in other companies. They get, you know, how important it is to attend. And then you're going to have another group who maybe has that corporate background where they don't see the importance. And so that's kind of the purpose of this call tonight, is for us to try to convey to you guys the importance of going. And so obviously, if you're going to create a campaign, the first step is you need to go. And that's, so you're hearing the data for that. And in order for you to become convinced of that, if you don't have a long background in the industry, you have to kind of understand the value of why it's so important. And you've heard Shai talk about it in terms of the dollars and the people that ended up in his organization. But in terms of the campaign, you know, you're going to have people on your team. Let's say you bring 10 people to Orlando. Maybe you're just a brand new distributor this week. Maybe you went to one of these events on the tour that Randy and Luca and Eric put on, and you're just brand new in Fusion tonight. It's not too late for you to put on a campaign and end up with 10 people on your team at Orlando. So what's the value of that? Well, first, you're going to have value yourself. But what's the value for having someone else there? And I think the way I think about it is, of the 10 people you bring, somewhere between probably 4 and 7 or 8 are going to walk out of that event completely fundamentally changed. Yeah, will 10 out of 10 walk out totally changed? No. But could 8 or even 9 out of 10 walk out of that event with the sense that this is my future? That's what happens with these campaigns. That's what happens when people go to these events. And the reason for that is because of the concept of belief. We've talked about this before on these Hangouts, and if you haven't heard it, there's basically 5 areas. There's products, there's the company itself, there's the comp plan, you know, in Fusion, there's the industry of network marketing, and there's the upline team that you would work with. And for a person to really be powerful, they've got to have strong belief in all of these areas. And there's just no other context that can elevate and accelerate someone's belief to where they can walk away and say, this is my future, and then go talk to people in a powerful way to get them to come, than an event like this. So that's the case for it. So you decide to go. Now you're going to have to create this kind of expectation or this culture in your business that that's what you do. That's what leaders do. They attend events. And I think about my team and the leaders on my team, and it's just a default, except for the brand new people who right now I'm making the case for them. They don't necessarily understand the value, but we've got already established team where that's just what we do. We attend the major events. And now what they're doing is going into their teams and making the case for the two groups, the people that are new to the network marketing industry who don't really get the value. They don't understand what it means to have even one person at an event like this that walks away and says, this is my future. I mean, that can literally lead to hundreds of thousands of people. Lives changed, financial futures totally transformed just by one person attending an event like this. So if you're doing this campaign, is this person new? If they don't understand the value of it, we got to make the case to them. And if they do, if they're experienced and they get it in our industry, well, we've got to now build that campaign. And what I'd suggest you do is think about it in terms of your enrollment lines. And this is what your enrollment lines look like, with you at the top. And every time you personally enroll someone, you've got an enrollment line. And when you're building a campaign to attend an event like this, start at the top of your enrollment lines. I mean, we also have, as you know, a left team and a right team, but this is just it's so much clearer this way. And we have an enrollment lines report in your back office. So when you personally enroll someone, that starts a new line for you. So start at the top of that line. You're like the general if you think of it in a military analysis, you're the general and you've got these captains that are a part of your team, and you're going to go to these lines and see, do these captains, do they get it? Do they understand the value? Are they going? Are they helping build the culture? Are they working through the organization, driving people to the event? And if not, that's okay. Who else now is in that line that you could maybe reach down to and talk to? It doesn't have to be necessarily the person you initially enrolled. For whatever reason, they don't get it, they're not going, get their permission, but work down into these enrollment lines as you're building this campaign. And then the question is, do they see the value, and are they going to go? Because if we can communicate this value of what it can mean, not just the fact that we're going to get education, that our belief is going to grow, but how much of a difference this is going to make in your fusion business a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, as these teams, as these enrollment lines grow for you, it just has massive impact on your organization. So follow these enrollment lines down and see, are your captains, are they in the game with you? Are they helping you with this campaign, driving people to attend Orlando? Do they get the value, and is this happening? If not, reach down, find somebody who is going, who can take the ball and run with it, and you can build it in that manner. Look at each one of the enrollment lines you've started. And if you're brand new and you're just enrolling brand new people this week, like I said, maybe you just went on the tour, you're a brand new distributor or team member in the last week. Every person you enroll, this needs to be one of the very first things you talk to them about, setting aside this time, because as Randy said so powerfully, there's only going to be one of these. There's only one Fusion launch in the US market, and it's coming up in just about 3 or 4 weeks. And guys, you're going to be kicking yourself if you're not there. So build these campaigns, get people there, because these people that are new to the industry, there's really no way that they can actually know. I mean, we can give them the data, but there's no way that they can actually know, because they've never personally experienced it. So you want to ask them to trust you. Just say to them, listen, trust me on this. I'm not going to steer you wrong. You've said to me you want big things out of your fusion business. You're looking to make this a career income for you. Trust me, this is the way you do it. It's not like a corporate convention in the corporate world. This will drive results for your business. Billy, back to you. Thanks.
Perfect, Paul. Thank you. And this is also true. I think you can tell by the enthusiasm of Randy and Shai and Paul how important this is. We are all new to Fusion in the United States. This is, we all have 10, 20, 30 years experience in this business, some of us, but everyone in Fusion in the United States is brand new. So we are starting from scratch here, and there's only one grand opening launch, and it's going to happen in May 13, 14, 15, right here in Orlando. And there is 487 reasons not to be here. But like Randy said, there is only one reason to be here, and you need to figure out what that why is for you. Go back to your accelerator guides and go through the accelerator guides with your team as well and figure out what that why was. Why are you investing in Fusion? Why are you giving up 10 or 15 hours a week and going crazy for the next 3 or 4 weeks? That one why is what is going to get you here. The cost, we know. The opportunity lost, you can figure out, but I'll tell you, it is an investment in yourself. And one of the critical errors that people will make will say, well, this is so new, and I'm so new into this business and new into Fusion that I will go by myself and I will learn everything there is to learn and I will bring it back to my team. That is a huge mistake. You've got to have the confidence in your leaders on this call, the confidence in your upline to trust us when we say, get everyone you can to Orlando the middle of May. There are people right now planning a vacation to Orlando, and they are investing thousands and thousands of dollars just to go spend it at the theme parks and just have a great vacation. We are coming here to Orlando to invest in yourself, invest in your business, so you can not only have to save up for a year for that major investment, but you can come to Orlando and see Mickey and see Universal and see SeaWorld as many times as you want once this income starts building up for you. So the investment is in yourself, and it's right now. And I encourage you to go to your back office right now, be a leader, sign up for the $99 registration. It's the best deal you're ever going to get. What a crazy low amount that is, and really make a commitment and show everybody on your team that you're going to be there first and you're going to lead them to Orlando. It's important. So until next time, thank you very much, and we'll see you. Good night.